Good morning, class! Wow, I love the energy. Pero can we make it louder? Again, good morning, class! Alright, mukhang handang-handa na kayong matuto ngayong araw. But first, let me introduce myself. I am teacher Ernestina Esmabe, and I will be the one to teach you today. And before we start our lesson, let's all bow our heads and feel the presence of God. Lord, thank you for this day. Bless our minds as we learn new things today. Amen. Okay, make sure that your chairs are fixed, your notebooks ready, and let's keep our classroom clean. Now, let's see if you can still remember our previous lesson. I'm going to ask questions and you'll just raise your hands if you know the answer. Number 1. When magnesium burns, does its mass disappear? Correct! Mass doesn't disappear. It only changes form. This is called the law of conservation of mass. And for number 2, who did discover this law? Yes, it's Antoine Lavoisier, the father of modern chemistry. Number 3, what do we call matter that has only one kind of atom? Right! Elements are pure substances consisting of only one atom. And number 4, what do we call matter made of two or more elements chemically combined? Right! Compound. Compounds are substances formed when elements combine chemically, unlike mixtures which can be separated physically. Great! Now that you're refreshed, let's move on to our new lesson, which is the methods of separating mixtures. But before we start, let's play a short game called Mix or Not. I'll say 2 things and you'll tell me if they mix or not. Are you ready? Sugar and water. Mix or not? Correct! How about oil and water? Mix or not? Right! How about air and smoke? Mix or not? Awesome! Now, let's dive into the 7 methods of separating mixtures, and we'll go deep so you really understand each one. The first one is filtration. It is a method used to separate insoluble solids from liquids. It works by passing the mixture through a filter that allows the liquid to pass but keeps the solid behind. This method is based on the particle size difference between the solid and liquid. Filtration can be applied to both coarse and fine particles using different types of filter media. The process does not change the chemical composition of either component, and it is widely used in laboratories and daily life. Filtration is simple, fast, and effective for many mixtures, and this is an example of filtration. The next one is chromatography. It is a method used to separate components of a mixture based on their movement through a medium. Different substances travel at different rates depending on their affinity to the medium and solvent. And this technique is useful for separating colored or soluble substances. It is widely used in chemical analysis, food testing, and forensic science. Chromatography can reveal the individual components of complex mixtures. It is precise and allows qualitative and quantitative observation. The process does not destroy the substances involved, and this is an example of chromatography. The third one is the evaporation. It is a method used to separate a dissolved solid from a liquid. by turning the liquid into vapor. So the liquid leaves behind the solid as it evaporates, concentrating the mixture. So this method relies on differences in volatility between the liquid and solid. Evaporation can occur naturally or be accelerated with heat. So it does not involve chemical changes to the substances. Evaporation is simple and energy efficient. It is often used in industries, laboratories, and daily life. And this is an example of evaporation. The next one is the distillation. So it is a method of separating two or more liquids based on differences in their boiling points. So the liquid with the lower boiling point vaporizes first, and the vapor is then condensed back into a separate container. So this method is useful for purifying liquids and separating liquid mixtures that are miscible. And also, it can preserve the chemical properties of the components. It can be applied in laboratories, industries, and water purification. So the process is controlled by temperature to selectively separate liquids. So it is efficient for both small and large-scale applications. And this is an example of distillation. The next one is extraction. It is a method that separates a substance from a mixture using a solvent in which it is soluble. The solvent selectively dissolves one or more components, leaving others behind. This method is based on differences in solubility and polarity. Extraction can be performed multiple times to improve efficiency. It is widely used in chemistry, pharmaceuticals, and food industries, and the process does not alter the chemical identity of the separated substance. Extraction is precise and allows recovery of pure components, and this is an example of extraction. The next one is the sedimentation. So, it is a method of separation where the heavy solid particles settles at the bottom of a liquid under the influence of gravity. So, the clear liquid on top can be decanted or removed carefully. So, this method relies on differences in density between solid and liquids. Also, it does not change the chemical properties of the components. So, it is a simple, low cost, and often used before filtration or other separation techniques. So it can take varying amounts of time depending on particle size and liquid viscosity. And it is widely applied in water treatment and juice clarification. So this is an example of sedimentation. And the last one is precipitation. So it is a method where a solid forms in a solution as a result of a chemical reaction between two liquids. So the solid is called a precipitate and can be separated by filtration or decantation. So this method relies on the formation of insoluble compounds, and it is widely used in chemistry, environmental science, and water treatment. And it allows selective removal of impurities of recovery of substances. So the process does not affect other components of the solution. And it is effective for producing solids from solution. And this is an example of precipitation. Great job, class! Ang gagaling nyo! I hope na marami kayong natutunan today. And always remember that science is fun, science is everywhere, and you make it even more exciting. Keep your curiosity alive, and let's continue learning together. And that's all for our lesson today. See you next time. Bye!